Yo, what's up, dog? What is a Tokimas? What does that mean? I got me some pizza. Noti gang? Do I have a Noti gang? Oh shit. I need some fucking chili flakes for for my pizza. Let's get some music going. Get some Sensei out. Alright man, later. You always watch for like 2 seconds. You have low attention span, Sensei. Oh, for all your friends. Yeah. Me too. The fuck is Tanoth? What is Tanoth? Rise, fight, and triumph. What the fuck? Oh yeah. Keep down the other tab. Oh. I haven't read the new One Piece chapter yet, but I don't think I could do that on stream. Maybe I'll do it anyway. Why not? Man, I hate YouTube. Let's turn off. What the fuck is this? Embark on an epic quest. Is this like a idle RPG or what? This is like a trailer that showed nothing. It was just like it was all UI. Uh, um. Not watching that video again.
Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech
Hey guys, Mr. Nath here, your source for Sugiano videos.
emulation and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with none other than Shad PS4. Now, Shad PS4 just got a brand new update. Version 0.2.0 just dropped. They say it's an exciting new release of Shad PS4. A lot of new games are working. No Bloodborne yet, but they are getting closer. So in this release, they've added macOS support, big shader recompiler improvements, core improvements, and GUI improvements. Like everything I talk about, links will be in the description below, and I'll also drop a link to the compatibility tracker in the description below as well, so you can check that out in the event that you want to see what games are currently working and what games have issues and what games aren't booting yet. And on a side note, if you wanted to see an in-depth view of this release, I'll drop a link to Brutal Sam's YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. This is an amazing release for Shad PS4. I mean, this emulator just keeps making improvements in leaps and bounds and has jumped way out in front as the current best PS4 emulator out there. Moving on, and we're talking about ROM hacking, and someone posted this over on Reddit ROM hacking, and you might be interested in it if you're a fan of ROM hacks. So this list is the essential SNES ROM hacks of all time, which has been updated for 2024. I'll drop a link to this in the description below, and feel free to check it out if you're interested in learning more about some ROM hacks and discovering some you may be a fan of. On top of that, they've also got a list of essential NES ROM hacks of all time, and this one was also updated in 2024. It's also got a great list here, and I'll drop a link to both
Never
of these
played
in
ROM
the
hack in my
description
life.
below. And speaking about ROM hacking, next up we're talking about romhack.ing. It's a brand new ROM hacking website. They say the staff have been working hard behind the scenes and
.ing. Never even seen that.
we now present you with this, romhack.ing. Please remember, this is an alpha or analpha,
Anal.
and it is read only. We'll continue to refine it and tweak it until it's ready for prime time. Now, I checked out their website and there's not a whole lot to it. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here and how this site evolves, and whether or not it's going to be the prime place for ROM hacking as a replacement for ROM hacking.
Dude, that Discord icon on the top there is the LG where it had like the gradient in the background.
Net. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. And speaking about ROM hacks and fan-made stuff, next up we're quickly talking about a project you may want to pay attention to and a YouTube channel you may want to check out. This is Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars, and this fan game looks absolutely incredible so far. It has been...
Oh, Nintendo's gonna take it down. Uh-oh. Nintendo's gonna take it down in a day. You know what? No, they're gonna take it down the day before it releases. They're just getting out of the way. They're gonna wait till like right before it releases and then to cancel it. Make sure he puts all the effort in. God, I love him. Okay. Food is eaten. Butthole clean.
Been in development for a while, and I've got no idea when the release date is going to be. But following along with the progress is very interesting. However, there is an older demo of this game that was released about 4 years ago over on smbxgame.com.
Damn.
And today, they're
Old.
getting a brand new demo. Honestly, let me know your thoughts about this project in the comments below. Are you a fan of stuff like this? Are you not a fan of stuff like this? And are you interested in the demo that's just about to release? And speaking about fan stuff, next up, we're talking about something that's a little bit controversial, or a lot of bit controversial. We talked about this yesterday, H2M mod. It's a mod for Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered that aims to basically give you the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer experience in Modern Warfare Remastered. It was set to release today. However, on the eve of its release, Activision gave it a cease and desist order. So here's their tweet. Today, our team members received a cease and desist order on behalf of Activision Publishing in relation to the H2M mod project. We are complying with this order and shutting down all operations immediately and permanently. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure as to why Activision did this and what their line of thinking is. I mean, they probably had to pay a lot of money for their legal team in order to research this and write the cease and desist, send it out, and follow up on it, instead of just getting some money from people buying this game in order for the mod to work with it. I mean, the H2M mod does require a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and I would assume people would be buying this game in order to use the mod with it. I mean, it would be enticing.
It's crazy as I actually have that. I actually have that that game. I literally bought Infinite Warfare just to play it. I bought Infinite Warfare just to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. This guy did it. 13th. Yeah, look, I got a screenshot. Got a festive camo. Oh, I got a quadruple. I got a 5 feed or a quintuple feed. Damn, look at that. I was a gangster.
Came out back in 2017. I think people would buy the game to try out the mod, but I could be wrong here. And then the negative publicity from Activision may hurt them even. Next up is a friendly heads up. If you're on Linux, you've got a racing wheel and you like to configure it with Oversteer. Oversteer is now on FlatHub. It is listed.
Oh, cool. I have a racing wheel that I was really hoping to use. Let me see Black Myth Wukong. Everyone's talking about it. PC review.
You better believe I've spent on the right-hand side of the screen again.
Benchmarks. Okay, let's watch Ratatasker. I'm gonna react to him reacting to reviews.
Hello, Rotten Tea. So I just checked on Metacritic, said 84, but I don't care what Metacritic has to say. We're gonna check out some of the video reviews.
Let's see.
And see what they have to say. So before we start, we should, I should put like where my thoughts are on it right now.
Okay.
I'm hopeful.
Let's see.
I'm hopeful. Looks good. Looks interesting. But it looks too good. It's always looked too good. It's always looked suspiciously good. And even watching the gameplay, I don't believe it. It makes me not believe it. It makes me be like, that doesn't seem right. And I can't translate it in my head to what exactly I'm supposed to be pushing to get those reactions. It's just weird. I just get a weird.
You know what? I'm gonna just react to reviews. Let's watch IGN
Hey all,
review.
Mitchell Saltzman here. I'm the reviewer of Black Myth Wukong, and just a quick note
You
about
are.
this review. As part of the embargo agreement set
This is
for
the only guy on IGN that's actually worth a damn.
this game, I am unable to show you footage beyond Chapter 2, which presents a bit of a problem because a lot of the technical issues that I have with this game that I specifically call out in this review occurred after Chapter 2, so I'm unable to actually show them. so we're going to do 2 different video reviews this time. This first one will abide by their restrictions and only show footage from the first 2 chapters, but we will also be posting a more complete review with the relevant footage added in on launch day. And with that, on with the review for Black Myth Wukong.
Okay. Damn.
I've never been so
Looks fun.
utterly blown
At
away
the very
and
least.
simultaneously so unbelievably frustrated by a game as I have been with Black Myth Wukong. This is undoubtedly one of the most ambitious and impressive action games I've played. It's stunningly gorgeous,
Okay.
its combat is fantastic, it's incredibly
Sick.
challenging, but always satisfying to overcome, and the setting is refreshingly unique and steeped in rich Chinese culture.
No, they don't got any. How's that guy singing with no head? How's that guy singing with no head?
Despite all of that,
I can tell this does not run very well on PCs.
it often feels like it's barely holding it all together. I suffered numerous crashes, despite having a top-of-the-line setup with the GeForce RTX 4090.
Oh. That's bad. That's
Not
bad.
to mention the multiple times I fell through the ground and died in the final phase of a boss fight. Or the way characters would randomly switch from English to Chinese, or the way the dialogue audio would just drop out altogether and leave me
Ooh,
completely in the dark during an
cyberpunk.
important cutscene. It's a rickety roller coaster for sure, and there were definitely spots during the ride where I was not having a great time. But taken as a whole, this is
You
one
sneaky
adventure where the
rascal.
bumps are worth it. Black Myth Wukong's story is somewhat of a follow-up to the classic novel Journey to the West by Wu Chenggen, a book that I only personally know thanks to very loose adaptations like Dragon Ball and Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
Yep.
That surface-level familiarity didn't help much though, as the interpretation that the developers at Game Science have crafted here is laden with references to characters and events from the novel without doing a great job of bringing you up to speed on who Sun Wukong is or what he encountered on his titular journey. I had to look online to understand who Zhu Bajie was, what his history with Wukong is, and what the significance of certain encounters were, because otherwise
fuck
I'd
is
have
this
been
dude?
completely lost at times.
Black Myth Wukong characters are some of the ugliest fucking characters. I love it.
You play as the Destined One, a literal monkey who wakes up one morning and decides to set out on a roughly 40-hour journey to locate the 6 relics of Wukong. While the moment-to-moment storytelling is fairly unremarkable, largely due to a mute protagonist and side characters that aren't given enough screen time to develop, each of the 6 self-contained chapters culminates with a stunningly gorgeous animated vignette that tells a short story about that chapter's main antagonist. Each one is done in a completely different art style, with one drawn to look like a storybook, another using
Tell you
stop-motion
what, the
animation,
action actually looks pretty fun.
and another done in the style of an anime. Every single one of them is beautiful and poignant, and I couldn't help but wish that the main story managed to move me in similar ways. My initial read on Wukong was that it was a Souls-like, given the checkpoint system, the stamina bar that governs your
Yeah.
actions in combat, and the dodge-heavy
Kinda
fighting
looks like
style.
it.
But as it turns out, Wukong has more in common with traditional action games, like what you might expect
Well,
from
see,
Bayonetta
Wukong has been in development for a long time.
developer platform
Before Elden Ring and all that came out.
games than it does with anything that From Software has made. Most of the usual Souls-like conventions are missing. There's no penalty for death outside of respawning at the nearest checkpoint, you don't use a shared currency to level up your stats and purchase items or upgrades, and while there is gear and stats to consider, you largely just go and swap out the old equipment with the new, as opposed to making choices as to what kind of weapon or piece of armor you want to hold on to and upgrade. And even though I am a big fan of Souls-likes, ditching those mechanics feels like the right move for the game that Wukong is trying to be. It's far more forgiving, focused on keeping you in the action rather than poring over menus or retracing your steps to
The
regain
enemies in Wukong are
your
so
lost
weird.
currency after dying, and Wukong is a better, more distinctive game for it. To be clear though, when I say it's more forgiving, I don't mean that it's any less difficult than a From style game. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that between this and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, I had more difficulty getting through Wukong's toughest challenges.
Damn. Bro, if I
But-
play this, I'm playing it in the Chinese, bro.
At the same time, those challenges never felt unfair, and overcoming some of the tougher boss fights was always a satisfying combination of learning their attack patterns, figuring out where I could maximize my punishment windows, and tweaking my loadout in ways that made the best use of my chosen powers.
Nice.
Combat in Black Myth Wukong is simple and elegant, thanks in part to some tools that are
What
really
the
fun to play around
fuck?
with. Success hinges on a delicate balance of Twitch reflex style gameplay mixed with careful resource management that largely revolves
game
around
is
a focus
actually so
meter,
weird.
which builds up when you land hits and perfectly dodge enemy attacks. You gain a focus point whenever that meter fills up,
How long
which
is
you
this
can then
game?
spend in the middle of a light attack combo for a varied combo, or you can just use a heavy attack on its own for a powerful strike that can be charged even further if 2, 3, or even 4 focus points are consumed all at once. You also have access to a small handful of spells, governed by a mana meter, that are versatile enough to be useful in a wide array of situations. The Immobilize spell, for instance, freezes enemies for a short time, allowing you to get in some quick hits and potentially stagger them to allow for even more free damage. Cloud Step turns you invisible and creates a decoy for your enemies to focus on while you break away, heal up, and then hit your foe with a surprise attack that can crit. Rock Solid briefly turns you into a statue that will cause an enemy's attack to bounce
so
right
many
off
abilities.
of you, giving you an opportunity for a counterattack. Ring of Fire creates a
Yeah,
barrier
4
around
abilities
you
that
that will
needs-
initially
needs
repel
a
enemies
bumper.
and grant you some health restoration,
A trigger.
along with enhancing any stat-altering drinks that you may use while standing inside of it. And finally, there's my personal favorite, a Plug of Many, which lets you make multiple clones of yourself to all gang up on
Shadow
you at once.
clones.
Separate from that, you've also got transformations, which allow you to morph into powerful creatures that you've already bested in battle. What's really cool about these is that they don't cost any mana, they're
What?
tied to a very lengthy cooldown instead,
You just-
and they
you
turn
just
you
turn
into
into
a
an-
totally different character.
you turn into a whole
complete
different
with an all-new
mob?
moveset, special moves that use their own focus meter, and more.
That's
For
wild.
example, one of the first bosses that you fight is a wolf with a fiery dual blade that has a lightning-fast dash attack. When you defeat him, you'll gain his transformation and be able to do that very same dash attack to your enemies. And once you
Damn,
build up
that's
its
sick.
focus meter, you'll even be able to do a hugely powerful leaping strike that can ignite foes and deal damage over time to them. And then finally, there are spirit skills, which are earned by defeating certain more powerful versions of enemies and absorbing their essence into your gourd. These are effectively transformations that only last for one attack and are also tied to a fairly lengthy cooldown, but it's great to be able to, for example, use the Wandering White's powerful headbutt attack
What
to
the
get an
fuck?
extra stagger after immobilizing an enemy. These spirit skills can also be leveled up, which makes it so that even the early game spirits never lose their strength as the campaign rolls on. It's an excellent blend of options, especially when mixed with some truly incredible
Yeah,
boss
this
fights.
game looks
And
like it's a
Wukong
game.
introduces all of these elements at a thoughtfully measured pace, so I never felt overwhelmed. Make no mistake, the Destined One is extremely powerful. And being
Play
in
this game
control
to
of him
be able
is
to control the
definitely a
rumble.
heck of a power trip. Even beyond the many powers and abilities he has at his disposal, nothing beats the feeling of just slamming a 50-foot bow staff down onto an enemy's head.
Oh.
But I still had to be smart with how I used my spells due to the fact that mana restoration is actually very difficult. This is where the resource management aspect of combat comes into play. I had to carefully consider what spells were actually worth the mana cost, whether I should save them for a more difficult second phase of a fight, and whether or not I could capitalize on the opportunity if I were to spend the mana in the first place. For instance, even though
What do
it's
you
my
mean,
most
Lost Ark
powerful
vibes?
spell,
This is
I
very
often
Eastern
had to
game.
hold off on casting my Pluck of Many spell that duplicates my character since it has an extremely high mana cost. If I cast it at a bad time, the boss could simply wipe out all of my clones with an AoE attack before they even got a chance to get some damage in. Sometimes the adjustment I had to make when I was stuck on a boss was a simple change in how I used my abilities, and the act of coming up with a new strategy and having it pay off was always extremely satisfying.
Hitting enemies does
While
not feel
boss
very
battles are where
satisfying
Wukong is at
to
its
me
best,
most of the
there's
time.
also a highly respectable amount of enemy variety in its regular fights. Level design is of the wide linear variety, usually with a clear main path that leads from checkpoint to checkpoint, but plenty of opportunities to venture off that path to discover optional goodies. The rewards for exploration are great
Oh, this
too.
game looks alright.
I found rare crafting materials to make new weapons
Looks like
and
a 7
armor,
out of 10 to me.
special enemies that drop a new spirit skill, curio items that I could equip to enhance my build, and treasure chests that might permanently increase my max health, mana, or stamina. all of which made the time that I took to find them well spent. On top of that, there are also several secret boss fights to discover, key items with mysterious uses that I still haven't figured out, and plenty of more reasons to stray from the beaten path and keep an eye constantly scanning the environment. The main one being that Wukong is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. Every environment is brimming with detail, from the chipped pieces of
In a
bark
weird
on the
way,
tree
I don't like that. I feel like it doesn't look that good,
in the
but
forest.
maybe just because the shitty bitrate in the video. I feel like if you play like 4K on an actual good monitor,
to the real-time deformation of the snow as the Destined One moves through it while dragging his staff along. Not only that, but the animation is impeccable too, with wonderful touches and flourishes, like the way your character will do a little hop step when locked onto an enemy, then change to strafing around them as opposed to just running straight on while keeping their head turned.
that's cool.
The music and sound design is fantastic as well, with epic drum-thumping battle themes and melodic flutes and chimes adding to the air of wonder and mystery as you explore the unknown.
This dude could just, who reviewed this, could just make his own channel. Mitchell Saltzman. Oh, what did he review it? Eight.
If game science can squash the bugs. Hey y'all.
All right, so listen, don't look back there.
That's some clickbait. I ain't watching that. Oh boy, the classic is the game woke or not argument. Oh, so you gotta see what the game launches. Let's tan off. I'm gonna bookmark this. Maybe I'll re-find it one day. What? I love this. I have a different version of this picture when it's a kid.
Go ahead, kill it, Cam.
Cool. Playing Anthem.
Unusual design.
Playing Anthem? What the fuck? Anyways, on to some real shit. Got me virtual machine. I want to try installing some shit on it. First thing I want to try. Operating systems. Finish. And then we got Windows 10, Windows 11, Temple OS, Linux Mint, Hannah Montana. There we go. Hannah. You must select an OS. Yeah, I'll do generic. Maybe is it Kubuntu? Kubuntu. Okay. No. Alright, generic Linux. Generic or unknown OS. Usage is not recommended. Memory, we want to give it we'll give it 8 gigs of RAM. I don't think it's gonna need any more than that. And we'll do 6 CPUs. Create a disk for the virtual image. Yeah, we'll do like Yeah, we'll do 20. Fuck it. You know, I'm gonna go for 10 here. I don't think it's gonna need that much. You know what? We'll do 15 to be safe. All right, and let's do customize configuration before install. Name is Hannah Montana Linux. No, I don't need network for this. I don't think I do. Do I? Will I need network? OS overview, CPUs. I forgot the exact topology, but we're just going to go with that. Okay, RAM, boot options. We do not have that, but that's fine. I don't really think that's a big deal. All right, begin installation. Enable request over network default is not active. Hypervisor default. It's always getting the fucking internet to work. Maybe Vert.io. Okay, we'll cancel then. Just about that. I don't need a fucking network. I don't want internet. How about that? Okay, then cancel installation. Details, detalles, storage. I need to watch a video really quick.
Install or whichever one your pages in the description of this video parts. Then open our save. Most know the Vert level, so that's Unix. Here we need to make sure that Unix sock RO that you're logged in as, so that you apply the group update. You're going, and then finally RC go through the
Yep, amliver-d.
steps to install a virtual machine, just really basic, and I'll show you. I like just full desktop. We can get pretty close to the visor, so you want, or possibly click connect, manager, and the first thing you want to do is actually make sure you're connected to the hypervisor. So you want to come over here to QEMU/KVM
an option.
and click connect. And I've got this Windows 10 VM that I created here earlier. Now, if you're not started or not installed something with your distro, you can customize this however, and I'm going to have an internet connection.
Gotcha. On boot. And then let's apply. Storage, virtual, okay.
Inside of your virtual machine here. And then we're going to use
All right. Disconnect. Connect. Details. Are we good? Okay. Forward. Browse. Hannah Montana Linux. Generic. Continue. 8,020. No, it's how much is 8 gigabytes? 1,024 times 8. Oh, it's 8192. 8192. 6. There you go. Customize finish. There we go. There we go. Here's the problem. I don't know how to control. I never. Yeah, we're gonna exit out. I always forget how to. What's the super key?